Thank you for posting it again. I'm very grateful. Flavorful fun ups, hell yeah. So okay, so it's the Grixis suggestion deck. Okay, I figured that we were gonna have to do this soon. This actually looks pretty good. Like very on point with like what gets suggested usually. I love that we get to play a Cass. Cool, I like it a lot. Seems like that's also like the perfect kind of deck to end the stream on too. For like the last deck in the queue. So I'm very grateful to get this list. I forgot. Yeah, I tried to go through the log again, but then I forgot which button I clicked. But I like opened up just the Twitch profile and stopped trying. 24 lands seems too few. Well, we have 24 lands with 4 Omen and 4 Opt. But I played a lot of this deck. I've liked this mana base. But maybe with 4 Opt and 4 Omen this year, I don't think 24 is too few. Oh, in the Grixis list. Who cares? Well, it'll be fine. And we'll probably go 3 and 2 with that Grixis deck, and then somebody's pet card is gonna like look really good, and then they'll feel validated that their pet card was good in a situation. Okay, I'm gonna grab a granola bar or something. Oh, is there a search for his content in that deck? I hope so. I think I want to pass with Charm up this turn. And then we can Mystic Sanctuary Charm, and then they can't counter our Teferi with a 3-drop, which is kind of nice. A busted Grixis Planeswalker. So Fields of the Dead is always like the toughest card in this matchup. But you can beat it sometimes. Alright. We're gonna bring it back down. Back to dry commentary. Ooh, it's the Titan deck. I wish I had paid closer attention to exactly what this list looked like. I don't think we need to fight over this chalice either. But I imagine that they have like I think this deck plays Remand. I think I will put the Charm on top too. 3 is probably not that relevant of a number, but it stops Dryad and Uro. And we can also just opt into Charm and then draw 2. Yeah, I saw the list at Nassif and Harry MTG. We just said the name of the guy who made the list, but the one with Frantic Inventory. I've seen it. I prefer this one, I think. Oh my gosh. Ah! Sorry. Yeah, just off. Completely off today. Oopsie. What a weird day today's been. I'm just trying to put a 1-drop in the graveyard for Mystic Sanctuary. I kind of felt like just mixing it up. Regime. I wanted to play some of that Teamer deck and just kind of get a change of pace. We've been playing so much of the Jeskai deck. I'm kind of getting burned out on it. Omen's pretty nice. Yeah, I don't know why the lands are all mismatched, but I forgot to look at them. Usually that's something I put effort into. But today is a pretty unusual day. How much do we care about this search for tomorrow? Probably shouldn't really care about it. I'm not gonna fetch a Archmage's Charm to counter it. And we also get to like maybe scry effectively by seeing what's on top of the counterbalance. There's a Terminus. And so if my opponent wants to cast a Primeval Titan here, they need a Cavern of Souls first. Thanks, Lockhart. If you could post that in the YouTube comments, I'd appreciate it. Very grateful for your you letting me know that I made a misplay there. Yeah, I guess I just don't want to draw this Terminus. I'm gonna shuffle. How's the stream been going? Well, just kind of been messing around with a bunch of different stuff today. Been kind of goofing around with chat a little bit, you might say. Just generally having a pretty good time. Do they? I don't think that they play enough mountains to trigger Valakut without Dryad. I would be very surprised if they did. I like that draw. We also have no 5-drops in the deck, so no need to go fishing with our Omen there. I also don't... Yeah, we don't need to go dig it up, but I actually have no idea who even posted the why not kill thing that started this whole shebang. But I don't even remember who that was. And it was fine, I was just goofing around. I will, of course, judge myself by my intentions and other people by their actions. Goes without saying. Yeah, that's probably it, Johnny. Why not kill? Dude, I feel so much better now that I've just had a tiny snack. I feel like at the end of this Star Wars food bar that I have, you know how they in Star Wars whenever they eat they just like have little like jars like bars of nutrients. I feel like that would be way more convenient than what we have. I feel so much better. It's crazy. Yeah, the stream needed some reining in. A little bit of chaos was nice for a bit, but I usually like to let Esther handle the chaos, you know? Yeah. Dude, I feel like the Mach 10 thing just had really just so much potential. Kind of disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed that I also didn't blind flip there. Let's counter draw. We get to reset the top of our library. We've already played our land. Maybe I'm supposed to counterbalance Sanctuary. That way we can get back Cryptic Command. But even if they Titan, we just have a Terminus. We also counterbalance Omen. And counter draw. And plus my Teferi. Well, what do you think those bars taste like? The just like the nutrient bars that. Yeah, I know I played a land already, but I just like establishing like the Cryptic Command Sanctuary lock is a part of beating Field of the Dead in this matchup. So I was just kind of thinking about doing that. They taste like sawdust. Yeah, they probably don't taste very good. I agree. A huge part of Star Wars themes is the fact that the majority of the galaxy just lives in poverty, no matter what system of government they have. If it's Palpatine or if it's the Republic, it doesn't really matter. 90% of the galaxy's residents, they're all just live in absolute poverty. Even like the very best bounty hunters apparently are really, really struggling to make ends meet. Well, now I wish I had bounced the Omen. We have a Condemn on top. Don't really expect that they're going to be playing too many 1-drops this turn, though. I've seen the Frantic Inventory version. I really like the Counterbalance version. In my opinion, honestly, Counterbalance is more of a draw to this deck than like the White Sweepers are. In my opinion, like Counterbalance is the reason to be blue-white Mystic Sanctuary control. And so if you don't think Counterbalance is where you want to be, I just don't think I'd be that interested in playing the deck. No, I don't think our opponent's deck plays Scape Shifts, but I think they are about to win the game. Let's see if they get Valakut Vesuva. It's lethal, right? It's 18 damage. How often does Counterbalance hit? More often than you'd think. And then you have it's really, really powerful with Mystic Sanctuary. That's the biggest thing. Is that you can fetch for a spell with the CMC that's being cast with Mystic Sanctuary, and that's just been so powerful. But you also have Omen of the Sea and Jace to help, and sometimes it blind flips, pitches to force too. Did we misplay? I feel like we did. I don't know. I feel like we could have avoided this. I mostly was, with my opponent being on like 3 cards, I didn't think that they were going to be able to. I didn't think that they were going to be able to counter my Teferi and untap and play like such a powerful threat. But the game definitely felt winnable. And it's possible what we could have done to avoid that is just let the Cryptic Command resolve. I think it was fine to cast the Teferi there, but we could have just like let the Cryptic resolve. I know I want to cut a lot of these white cards. Probably not all of them. I think the Torpor Orbs are also good enough to bring in. Oh no, they're an Uro deck. Never mind. Yeah, we can maybe just play like 3 Terminus to clean things up. Could maybe play Grafdigger's Cage for Uro. I think I'm not that into it. Let's submit this. I haven't tried the Esper Arrayo deck, but I've watched some people play it. It looks pretty good. Oh no, I probably want the Dispute. We're just taking a mulligan on the whole day today. I dropped my Star Wars bar. You're really jamming Nexus into every deck now. I've been liking it more and more. You know, Autumn is, a GOAT. Maybe even the GOAT. Maybe the defining player of the current Magic era. And Autumn really likes one Nexus in most blue decks in Modern. So if they like it, it's hard to argue too much. Torpor Orb is good against like the more traditional Titan decks, but this version plays Uro, so I don't think you want it. Would there be a benefit to splashing a 3rd color? Just curious. Well, splashing a 3rd color is really tough on Mystic Sanctuary, and also like if you look at our mana symbols, we've got these counterbalances and charms, which are pretty hard to cast. But there is always a benefit to splashing a color, right? But I think specifically in this counterbalance shell, blue-white is the best. You know, it's maybe a good time to talk about it. But I often get asked, like, hey, Spike, what do you think about Esper right now? Well, like, what do you think about Esper right now? What do you think about Grixis? What do you think about these color combinations? And when you ask me what you think about that, what you think about splashing a color in this deck, it's hard for me to, like, really wrap my brain around exactly what you mean, because you're not. There's a million different directions you can go just in these color combinations. You know what I mean? Like, you saying, like, if you ask me what does Esper control look like in Modern right now, I don't have a picture of what that looks like, because that's just not a deck at the moment. Yeah, and no Esper Triumph or Bant Triumph does mean like those colors are. Yeah, just no blue white. I guess there's a Jeskai Triumph, but I don't think you can really be Jeskai either. Wow, didn't expect this to get mana leaked. Just gonna play the Sanctuary and pass. It's interesting. Xmas Miracles, dude. Yeah, I'm pretty low on S for Charms too, but that's definitely way better than, you know. Ugh. I think we need to jam Teferi here. It's not very likely to resolve, but we're missing land drops. I think we just trade resources now. We have another threat to play at the Jace. You know, maybe Esper Charm gets good if there are just a ton of great enchantments in Modern. Can I talk through about how you win and how we close after boards? I mean, the main way you win is with Entreat the Angels or running your opponent out of resources. But win conditions are also super overrated. If we draw land and get to Jace Bounce Tracker, maybe you're doing okay. Yaden, on the start of your second laugh. Mary Submiss, thank you. Hope you're having a good day today. Oh, Mystic Sanctuary. No deck building restrictions at all. This is the only non-island in the deck too. But that mana leak on Omen was brutal. It's so weird to me to mana leak Omen in that spot. Just not something I'd expect to have happen very often. No, I'm not accusing my opponent of stream sniping. Chat is always very aggressive to accuse people of stream sniping as soon as a good play happens. At this point, I don't accuse my opponent unless they're both acting sus and their username is in the chat. You know what I mean? And I also have gotten way too many messages from people saying, like, people all the time will DM me and say, hey, I went back and watched the VOD of us playing the match, and people in your chat were saying I was ghosting, and I want you to know I was not ghosting. And that just always breaks my heart every single time. I'll concede to Veil of Summer here. I'd love to concede to Veil of Summer. Damn it. Yeah, I've missed casting Jace. I'm not playing it in the other Jeskai deck because Teferi is so synergistic with Lotus Field, but it feels good to cast this card again. My opponent can also get me off white mana by ghost quartering my planes. I hope that doesn't happen.
Welcome, Spikelings, to the Shark Typhoon.
Scott, thank you for gifted 5 subs. I know it's been a weird stream. I know I've been disfocused and I've been disfocused and unjointed. Well, I'm having an off day. I'm glad that you guys are here with me today. I'm having a good time. Ruler, I'm going to be working on Sharkblade again soon. I do appreciate you asking about that. My opponent just didn't play the tracker again. This is awesome.
What's up? It's me, your friend Inspiring Spike.
I don't know if Sharkblade sucks necessarily. I'm going to be working on it soon, so hopefully I find out that it doesn't. Okay, I don't want to shuffle. I don't think so. I think I'm not going to play the Tarn this turn.
The Shark Typhoon.
No, I'll give myself the option to shuffle. If my Teferi gets forced, maybe we want to just Miracle the Entreat. Might still just want to Miracle the Entreat, actually.
Welcome, Spikelings, to the Shark Typhoon.
We don't need to anytime soon. You trophied with the Team Returns deck? That's awesome. Yeah, Colossus is probably way better. Colossus actually sounds great vibes. Although I also feel like you probably want some Anger of the Gods in the sideboard, maybe. I'm glad that you liked it. The deck definitely felt kind of untuned, so glad that you enjoyed it. I think we don't need Entreat now. We don't need to win anytime soon. I'm going to counter this with Archmage's Charm. This way, on my next turn, I can cast Nexus of Fate with Remand up to maybe protect it from a mana leak or Remand. Brian, did somebody say Sharkblade? Maybe some Dragon Blade in our future, Brian. You know, just because I'm not working on a deck also doesn't mean I necessarily think it's bad. You know, like that Grixis Dragon deck I think is a perfect example. When I didn't play it for months, but I did think it was good the last time I played it. I was just messing around with other stuff, and then I played it last week and did really well with it. And I'll probably play it again. No Valakut is nice. Opponent needs to play quicker also. They're not playing very fast. I agree with that exactly. I think Omen of the Sea is better if you have Counterbalance, and Frantic Inventory is better if you're playing a more traditional blue-white control shell. But in my opinion, I personally just feel like if I'm playing blue-white, I want to be playing Counterbalance. I think Counterbalance is excellent in this shell. And I just don't personally feel like you're that incentivized to play this archetype without it. Alright, let's see if our opponent has Force. If they have Force, we're still playing Magic. If not, we're playing Goldfish. If you played Omen, can you replace Opt with Serum Visions? I think Serum Visions... Opt is much better because of the ability to Miracle on your opponent's turn. I would really not recommend playing Serum Visions. Just Opt being able to Miracle on your opponent's turn is a huge deal. One that I cannot overstate. Okay, so we'll play Counterbalance with the ability to Mystic Sanctuary for a 1, 3, or 6. Which are all... I guess 1 is an irrelevant number, but 3 and 6 are. Hear me out, Giant Blade. I really think that Uro doesn't want you to play Stoneforge Mystic. Uro wants you to play cards that trade resources efficiently and then just win the game with Uro, which is a super resilient threat, you know? And Stoneforge Mystic also wants you to be playing a lot of like really resilient threats, but I think that you probably want to pick either Stoneforge Mystic or Uro and lots of resilient answers and not have both. Yeah, Chalice 1 only hits Opt, I think, because I've cut all of my paths and Condemns post board. My opponent, I think, should be scooping right now because of how much time they have on their clock. They have less than 8 minutes to win Game 3. So, and, you know, this is something that you would see talked about a lot, you know, when paper existed, you know, in that fever dream that we all share of paper Magic, where it was often correct to concede Game 2 even if you were still like 1 or even 2% to win. If you needed the rest of the clock to actually win the match, you needed to concede sooner than this. Yeah, I think paper Magic was just a Mandela effect that, you know, it's just like this collective hallucination that we've shared together. I think my opponent thinks I have to untap their lands here, but I don't. It's been errated. It used to work that way. Oh, they're just going to Blast Zone. Sure. Get rid of my Counterbalance. Yeah, like the Berenstein Bears, exactly. I have sometimes seen Thopter Sword of Miracles. What do I think of that as a win con? I think it's quite poor. Especially when you compare it to a card just like Jace or Teferi. They just are win conditions that generate a ton of card advantage, while Thopter Sword is very disruptible and slow, and 2 cards and do nothing on their own. You know, just a lot to dislike there, I think. As a My opponent is playing a Tracker. Tireless Tracker. Terminus just feels like the best removal spell to me, though, in this matchup. It's a 6 for Primeval Titan. It doesn't get countered by Chalice of the Void and cleans up Field of the Dead. I think I'm going to cut the third Force and play the third Terminus. Why not kill? Good question, Existent. Yeah, FNMs were MTGO land parties. Yes, I think that it's all coming back to me. I think that that's true. I vote if Paper Magic comes back, they should implement chess clocks instead of shared time. I think that that's a good idea in theory, but in actual practice, it doesn't actually translate very well. Because, one, you have to convey to every Magic player the sense of priority and who has it win, and that's like... Magic already has a really high barrier of entry, and it's a very complicated game, and that just adds to the complexity, which is a problem for the health of the game. And it's also not always clear who has priority. You know what I mean? It's, I would say there are spots where it is kind of weird who has priority, and then you're having a conversation about it while one player is losing time on their clock, which could be a problem. Although I'd be interested in trying it. It could be that I play with the chess clock and then you pass priority back, and it could possibly end up being like really fun. And I, as someone who play really quickly, would certainly benefit from that system. But I think largely I don't support it. How much time would get added per move for a Magic chess clock? I don't think any time would get added. I think that you would just, when you pass priority, you would pass the clock. Just like it works on Magic Online. Whenever you have priority, your clock is ticking. And when you don't have priority, your clock is not ticking. I'm just going to play the stream on turn 1. This way we could Miracle Terminus whenever. I don't think there's anything for us to dispute on turn 2. I guess they could like main phase Spiral. Do I play just as quickly in paper as online? Yeah. About. I play quickly because I'm often making my decisions on my opponent's turn, or I've already made the decisions like 6 months ago when I've played or as I've played the same matchup over and over, week by week, day by day. There're just some decisions that you always know to make, and you kind of develop some reflexes. I bottom both of these. But yes, I do play quickly in paper as well. I'm going to pass here. Team returns felt decent. I didn't play very well. I spent most of the league screaming at chat, really, really digging in deep. But I had a good time with the deck. It was fun. What's the most MTGO events I've queued in before the leagues? Probably 4. I used to quad queue Cube for fun. I don't think I ever tried more than that. Yeah, I strawmanned the entire chat. I was not a grateful streamer at all, but now I am. Very great. Now that I've eaten a snack, I'm very grateful for everyone in chat. What's the largest number I've ever counted to? Probably like 22, 30. That range. Maybe I'm not supposed to minus in case they play like Tireless Tracker or Dryad here. But if they go like Dryad, Land, Valakut, then I will have maybe 1 to minus on the Omen. It's kind of close. If I get to Force of Negation their play, it will be so... This game's over, I think. We've gotten a lot of good copy pastas this week, and I can't overstate how valuable that is. Have I ever had the pleasure of playing with someone who plays faster than me, like an LSV or Aaron Barrich? You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever played against Aaron. Although I have played Aaron's Infinite Mana Cube, which is pretty cool. It was like one of the most fun experiences I've had playing a cube. But I don't think I've ever played Aaron in tournament play. And I played LSV for the first time like 2 weeks ago in the Zendikar Rising Championship. I think we played about the same rate. I don't think that one player was necessarily playing much faster than the other. I may have been playing a bit faster, but that was probably because I had experience in the matchup that LSV didn't, because I was playing a Brew and LSV was playing, Sultai, which is a bit of an established deck. So maybe it was a bit in my favor. Well, they get a bunch of zombies, huh? Yeah, we got actually 2 good copy pastas today, which is above average. I'm going to keep both of these. And I think we're going to set up for a Terminus on the zombies. I'm not going to Miracle here. I am hoping to hit my land drop here, and then I do plan on losing the Jace to the zombies, but we get to keep one Planeswalker. Oh no, we missed our land. So it's not part of the plan, but is maybe doable. Can I ask you how you sideboarded an Historic against Sultai? I posted a sideboard guide for the deck in the Discord, available for subscribers. If you really want to find, you can subscribe and link your Twitch account and Discord account. But I haven't thought about Historic since the PT. It's all fallen out of my brain. Type 4 is the name of Aaron's cube, just as an aside. I didn't know that. When I played with Aaron, I think they just called it Infinite Mana Cube. That was at PT Nashville, so I don't know if. Oh, wait, does Aaron still play Magic, or did Aaron move on to develop a different game? I actually can't remember, but Aaron's super cool. Would I introduce myself to LSV as MTGO user Aspiring Spike? No, I probably would just use the name my mom gave me, Everett. I probably would just say Everett. She works for Riot. Cool. I knew it was. I thought it was a different game, but I wasn't sure. That's very cool. Aaron is like definitely one of the smartest Magic players I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. Just really, really, sometimes you just meet a Magic player whose brain just really, really understands the game on a different level. Aaron Barrich. I don't know how you actually spell her name. Actually, if it's. Yeah, I think it's with an A, but now that you've typed out both EIRN and AR, it's like my brain is falling apart like it usually is. But I believe it's spelled with an A. I'm pretty confident, but now that I've seen both in the chat, I am doubting myself. Yeah, I remember I used to watch Aaron stream Pioneer, like a lot of Mono Red. I would watch that a lot. But that it was like a distant memory. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was A, but I thought I might be getting Mandela again. Yeah, they still go by Aaron, as far as I understand. I do make a pretty conscious effort to be good about that stuff. Oh yeah, and I would definitely watch Aaron play the Yawgmoth deck all the time. I kind of don't want to Terminus here. Kind of just want to cast Nexus. And maybe I want to find a non-sanctuary land to play. Oh no, I'm shuffling away my Terminus. It's fine. We have one in the graveyard and we've got sanctuaries in the deck. We'll find one. Maybe the narrator is about to tell me that I don't find one. Oh no, my opponent has a counter spell. Oh no. I've made a huge misplay by tapping out into all this open mana. No! Out of the frying pan and into the fire, you know what I mean? Yeah, hopefully Counterbalance is kind to us. I think that maybe Pioneer could make a comeback. I believe. One day. Where do I find room to keep all these trophies? I give them to chat as sub incentives to show them how grateful I am. Yeah, I feel like Pioneer was a really good GP format. And so, you know, Paper comes back. Maybe Paper wasn't a fever dream after all, and could be pretty good. You get a trophy. You get a trophy. We all get a trophy. Ooh, Cavern of Souls. What part of Texas am I from? Oh, here and there, you know. Here and there. I'm just gonna save some life here. Pass it back. You guys remember what playing against these Primeval Titan decks was like before they printed Aether Gust? You guys remember? I honestly can't believe I ever even tried to do it. Why not counter? I don't know if you know, some jokes have been made today. We've had some laughs, we've had some goofs. We've had a great time. I don't know if that's a serious question or not, but assuming that it is, Cavern of Souls makes the creature uncounterable. That it is. I guess we opted then. We probably should have opted first, but we opt to see if we find Terminus, and then if you miss, Condemn to save 6 life. Yeah, so you can't counter if there's Cavern of Souls. Yeah. I figured it was probably a meme, but I'm sure that there are Magic players in here, you know, that aren't, you know, intimately familiar with Modern, don't know what Cavern of Souls does. So, want to be accommodating to them, for sure. Yeah, that's true. They didn't have Field of the Dead before. That is definitely true. It was still obnoxious. You make some good points, Doom. You make some good points. It was a very grateful response from... I would probably describe myself as the most grateful streamer on Magic Online. Or that streams Magic Online. No longer do I don the title... no longer do I don the title MTGO user aspiring spike, but I am now grateful MTGO user aspiring spike. So X can make 4 zombies on end of turn by ghost quartering the flagstones. Put that on my Twitch description. Is it currently the Queen's Gambit thing? I think it is. Blast Zone on 4 for Jace. Smart. Does not put zombies into play to play around the incoming Terminus, I guess. Smart. Alright, to win this game, we're going to need to Miracle Entreat soon. Did not kill their flagstones in the turn. Kind of surprised by that. Guess I'm going to cycle Remand here. Can I cycle both? I think I'm 1 mana short. No, I can. Like to see Mana Leak do that. I'd also like to see myself draw better. This Blast Zone is going to make, you know, just drawing a Jace and Cryptic locking our opponent harder. We have an Omen of the Sea on top. So let's tap draw so we can draw this Omen. And we can Mystic Sanctuary back Cryptic if we don't find anything, you know. I might kill my opponent here. Why not kill? Not sure why I wouldn't. Top card is Polluted Delta. So allow me to cast a Path to Exile in response. I don't know if X has more basics in his deck. If he does, he can Ghost Court himself. I need to look at his list more. X will top 8s like every single challenge and wins half of them. So I need to pay more attention to his list because he's definitely on top of it. But I'm not so familiar that I know off the top of my head. 6 basics is stock. That's kind of what I was thinking, but I just wasn't sure. I want to Mystic Sanctuary this Cryptic, so I guess I'll force here. 1 card left in hands. We could have maybe Sanctuaried Remand to counter. Nah, I need better cards than that. So I'll probably... How many Terminuses have I used? I think just 2. Yeah. So I think I'll Omen on their turn. And then see what I find off of Omen. If I find Jace, I'll tap draw. If I find Terminus, I'll just Terminus. If I find Jace, I'll tap bounce. If I find nothing, I might just go tap bounce Omen of the Sea. There's Jace. Okay. So now I think what I want to do is tap their team and bounce the Sanctuary. Oh, they have Ghost Quarter. I always forget about this shit. Damn it. Yeah. Sorry. Obviously a huge punt. Bummer. Had like a chance to win that game before that. Why not kill? Why not kill? Yeah, but pretty big punts. Probably like 2 Counterbalance, 3 Omen. I think I need to play all the forces because X usually has boils in the sideboard. Do I ever talk crap on other streamers? No, it's actually like my one rule is to not disparage. I mean, I have more rules than that, but I make it a point to not disparage other content creators, and that is like the one rule I have in chat is you can't make fun of other content creators, but you can make fun of me. Doom, if you wanna start beef for clout, I'm down. But I do like your stream a lot, and I would recommend you to anyone. Mister, this deck is. I like this deck a lot. I think with Mystic Sanctuary, Counterbalance is quite powerful. Although we've played against 2 Primeval Titan decks where it certainly doesn't shine. But I've won a PTQ with this deck. You know, I think it's got a lot of promise. It's usually better when you play matching basics, though. Fran's a bit different. I think we've built a good rapport. I just tease Fran because he always suggests I play more lands. How many donations to make a Grixis Miracle? I mean, there are no legal black miracles. I guess you'd have to, for it to truly be Grixis Miracles, you'd have to play Bonfire of the Damned. I don't know how much I would want to charge. Oh, come on, C. Ordain. As soon as we talk about Fran telling me I need to play more lands, we miss our land drop. It's justice, I guess. Never mind, I've learned nothing. Although I kind of feel like we're going to get boiled, but maybe we'll blind flip. Gonna Teferi bounce. Oh wait, does Exile play the protection land? I feel like I've just been so outclassed this game. I'm not in my zone. But does X play the protection land? I don't think we're supposed to play around it. What is that card called? There's a land when it enters the battlefield, it gives a creature protection from a color. Yeah, Sajiri Step. Well, Entreat the Dead's not modern legal, is it? Thunderous Wrath is pretty cool. I had a friend when I used to play FNM, he would play Burn with 4 Thunderous Wrath in his deck, and he had a really good time with it. I had many turn 2 Tassigers killed by Thunderous Wrath on turn 2. It was always so heartbreaking. They named Giant. Become unstoppable. We're going to get boiled, and then we're going to blind flip. This was the plan. So unlucky. Obviously, we punted that game 1. We should have, I guess, just bounced the Omen. Where I only want to unban a Magic card if I think it's going to make the format like a more fun environment and is going to cultivate like new ideas and diversity. Whereas I'm way more conservative when it comes to banning things, and I really feel like even if a card is unfun or a deck is unpopular, you shouldn't ban a deck for that reason, and you should just largely only ban cards based on power level. But I don't think you're supposed to unban cards as soon as they become power level appropriate, because there's a very, very small cost associated with keeping a card on a ban list. Whereas if a card ever comes off a ban list and is immediately tier 1, if the card is ever immediately too dominant, too good, too popular, if it immediately is a tier 1 deck, I think you've made a mistake. And if a card ever has to come off the ban list and has to go back on, I think that's one of the worst things that can happen to a format, is a card having to come off the ban list and then having to go back on. And so I don't think that you want to unban a card like Jitte that will, as long as Jitte is legal, small creature decks like almost just can't flourish, especially with Stoneforge. And like I know that there's already Plague Engineer and Wrenn and 6 and Lava Dart that are doing these things, but so does Jitte, and Jitte is like not that good in a lot of matchups. I also agree, but I don't think it would do good things for the format, especially not with Stoneforge Mystic legal, and I would not choose to unban it, not even close. Yeah, Golgari. I think Wizards has done an excellent job with unbanning cards in Modern, with the one exception being Golgari Grave Troll. We blind flipped. Cool. The one exception was Golgari Grave Troll. Yeah, I don't want to draw that counterbalance, so we'll shuffle. We'll draw an Archmage's Charm. It's like if Golgari Grave Troll is either making the format, it's either an incredibly powerful enabler in a great graveyard deck, or it is not playable in the format. And there's really not a lot of room in between there, and I just don't think that's good for the format. So I'm gonna counter the Charbelcher. We have a 0 on top to counter Pact of Negation, which is something I want to leave on top in this spot. Seems like a good matchup. Yeah, Grave Troll was definitely fine when it was unbanned, but it also definitely ran the risk of being too good with them just printing good cards that went to the graveyard, which is exactly what happened, Whereas when you unban Bloodbraid Elf, it's really hard for Bloodbraid Elf to be busted because the card is pretty high variance and is just like of an appropriate power level for Modern. And the same is true of Wild Nacatl and Bitter Blossom. There's no like card that's going to be printed that's going to break these cards. The format, Jace the Mind Sculptor, these cards have just gotten, the rest of Magic has caught up to these cards' power level, which is why I feel like those cards were pretty safe unbans compared to something like Golgari Grave Troll, which is one of the best enablers for graveyard decks in Magic ever printed. Is one of the best cards in Legacy and Vintage for graveyard strategies. And so, like, I think another really good example is the artifact lands that are currently on the ban list. And if they were unbanned today, I doubt they would have that much of an impact. Like, they would be somewhat playable, maybe. But I doubt that they would be super good in the format. Are we dying on turn 1? Or turn 2? We are. So we need to opt into Force of Negation. Awesome. We win if we hit. We have 3 Force of Negations. Nope. But it's like, even if they're not immediately good, they really do restrict design space for mechanics like Metalcraft mechanics that want a lot of artifacts in play. So I just don't think they should come off the ban list. So far, has JTMS been positive or negative for Modern? I mean, I'm very biased and I really enjoy the card Jace the Mind Sculptor, and so I would say positive, but I don't know if I can give an objective take. I also don't think we can mulligan 2 Force of Negations against Belcher, even though we are on the play. How's Tailsin? Tailsin is great. In this matchup, a lot of times what happens is your opponent will cast Belcher without having the mana to activate it, and they will protect their Belcher with Pact of Negation, and then they'll try to kill you on their upkeep with their Pact trigger on the stack. And so in order to fight that, you lose the fight, but then you can Tails End the Belcher activation, and then they die to their Pact trigger, which actually happens a lot of the time. Okay, I cannot believe my opponent's going for. I was hoping that they would just cast Empty the Warrens here, because with me missing my second land drop, I can't imagine them expecting me to not have a Force of Negation. I mean, Tailsin is very good against the Uro Omnath piles. Tailsin is very good against Oopsal spells, Belcher, Ad Nauseam, Mono Green Tron, and it's also it's also just not that bad in a lot of matchups. They brought in Bone Crusher Giant. Weird. And then they conceded. Also weird. Pod especially never got to play with the Yawgmoth combo. Pod never got to play with Devoted Druid Vizier. And to and for your unbanning to immediately put 2 tier 1 decks to the top of the metagame, I think is a mistake. I think that is a mistake if that's what's happening. We're playing against Eldrazi Tron. I know from our opponent, who's a very prominent E-Tron player. And Counterbalance is usually quite poor against them. I think I'm going to put that back. Twin is not too good. I've tested a lot with the large group. I promise you that if Twin was legal, it's all I would ever play, and it would be immediately a tier 1 deck. Also, like, what does too good mean to you, right? But like with Twin, you can play it with Teferi Time Raveler. You can play it with Veil of Summer. You could play it with Blood Moon. You know, Twin would be better than it was. Twin would be better than it was when it got banned. Which is part of the reason why they banned it too, because of course, because it really did stop them from being able to print new good blue cards into the format. Pod feels kind of slow for Druid decks. I mean, maybe. I don't know that if I necessarily agree, but I mean, it would be very good in the Yawgmoth decks, and it just has a ton of tools it didn't get to play with before, is my main point, you know? Stinks. And, you know, I don't maybe I just am being inarticulate. I'm not expressing my point very well, which is, you know, entirely possible, maybe even likely. But I hope that I've expressed my point well and we can move on. Like this is my philosophy, and you can agree, you can disagree. That's totally fine. It's just I don't think my mind's going to be changed on this anytime soon. I have brewed with Seagate Stormcaller. I had a Tribal Flames deck that played the Abzan and Jeskai Triome, as well as just, you know, other dual lands. So that Tribal Flames was very often 2 mana deal 5 damage, which was pretty good to copy with Seagate Stormcaller. I thought that deck was pretty cool, but it's been a while since I've played it. It's been a while. Terminus? Yeah, I agree with you, 9000, that Magic players, largely when they're talking about cards on and off the ban list, they want their pet deck to be good and competitively viable, and that's like about it. I think we need to condemn here. This is probably bait to like play around Cryptic, but I don't think we have the luxury of waiting here. Yeah, exactly. When people talk about Twin being unbanned, they imagine like the same 75 being played as in its old form, when in reality, like, it would get to play Mystic Sanctuary, it would get to play Veil of Summer, Teferi. It would be much better, and so would Pod. And I know I just said this, and I'm sorry I'm a broken record. I'm sorry I do this all the time. And I'm sorry I even apologize for it. I'm just not. I just want to be a grateful streamer, but. That's why Pod and Twin were banned in the first place, was because they restricted like what, you know, Wizards could really print into the format in the first place. They will be better, but all modern decks are better. No. I feel like you're missing the point. Or maybe I'm doing a poor job articulating my point. That's entirely possible. But this is the last I'm going to talk about it, then we're moving on. But my point is, in my personal philosophy that you are allowed to disagree with, if you unban a card and it immediately becomes a tier 1 deck forever, even if that deck is beatable, even if that deck is not the best deck in the format, if that deck immediately becomes a tier 1 strategy that always remains tier 1, you've made a mistake with your unban. You can disagree, that's fine, but this is my philosophy. And we're done. We're playing against Mateus now. Mateus also streams, and his stream is just this username, Mateus F34. I've played against this guy a lot. He's really, really good at Modern. He streams in Spanish, and so I don't know if he ever streams not in Spanish. I've never seen him not stream in Spanish, but if that's something you like, is, you know, if you speak Spanish, you might get a lot out of this, and I get stuff out of his stream, and I don't even speak it very well. Oh, he's Portuguese? Yeesh. I really thought he was speaking Spanish. Obviously, sounds like I was wrong. But either way, I like his content. I recommend it. Really, really good Magic player. I know I said we're not... One more thing. To just establish my ethos, to establish my credentials here. I built Splinter Twin in paper and got to play one F&M before the deck was banned. So, you know, I surely that gives me some clout here in this conversation. Is Etron good in this meta? I don't really think so, but Mateus is a master and still finds success with it. What do I think about Frantic Inventory's Miracles? I think Inventory is good if you are not playing Counterbalance, but if you're not playing Counterbalance, I don't really feel like you want to be playing this deck. You didn't get to play even the single F&M. That's brutal, dude. At least I got to play the one. You have more clout than me in this matter. Yes, there is a free play format, you can play Magic Online. There's a format called Freeform where you can just play any card, and some people do. Ban Into the Story. I'll ban you for banning Into the Story. How could you even suggest something like this? Alright, Exile the Charm, right? Can we just ban Spike? I wish, dude, please. Please. Penny Dreadful is cool. I really just love Caleb Gannon. Just any format Caleb plays, he's always having such a good time. I just enjoy watching it. We're getting ballisted. Looks like it. Yep. Close game. Just couldn't. There was no counterspell we could get back to stop that and play Jace that turn. I do usually like Nexus against Etron. Not a huge fan of Counterbalance in the matchup. Could play like maybe 3 Terminus, 3 Path. Looks like a pretty good split to me. Gotta play another card. Play a second Counterbalance. I think I like second Counterbalance over any Condemn or the 4th Terminus, and nothing else seems that good to me. Sounds kind of medium. I'm gonna keep. Yeah, I agree. Rearranged, like the 4-color Uro decks are really obnoxious. They're not fun to play against, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan. However, it does seem to me that even despite the presence of these decks, you know, you still have people like Mateus, like Ice9, like people can still just play any of their favorite decks for the most part and find enough success to like continue to play these decks. And it's honestly, despite that there are things to complain about in Modern, it's hard to really, not at least be thankful for that. Sorry, to not be grateful for that. Because that is kind of a rare thing in Magic the Gathering formats. Am I saying Uro is too good? I am saying that. I am of the opinion that Uro should be banned in Modern. Thank goodness this is only a turn 3 reshaper, not a turn 2 one. But I am of the opinion Uro should be banned. But not that I think that's going to happen anytime soon. Let's draw the Jace. I'm going to get greedy and bottom the Omen and hope to spike a 3-drop. Mystic Sanctuary. So I guess I'll just Jace bounce. Pretty bad if they have Smasher. Could just sacrifice the Jace. Don't think I want to do that. I'm not sure how random a basketball hoop being 10 feet was. I don't know that I'd call a basketball hoop being 10 feet random. It is cool that it, ended up being really nice when they established at 10 feet, but I kind of feel like it makes sense to put it about that high. Yeah. Spirits is another good example of a deck that you can just do fine with, and it's not like a tier deck by any means. Oh, cool. So they got a Pithing Needle, which means we can just counter that with this Path to Exile. Although I suppose I'd rather counter it with the Opts. So that way we could path like a Smasher. What do I charge for making brews? I need someone to build a sweet deck. $40 usually is the going rate. But I'm not sure exactly what you mean by the feeling of funk dancing for self-defense. I guess I'm countering this. How could you do this to me? I wasn't ready to see this. Rest in peace, Sweet Prince. I think this was the first deck that I was ever getting 200-300 viewers for pretty regularly. It was so good. And then they printed Uro. Loved this deck. You send me links are fine as long as they're fine, right? Opponent gets a coding, which we don't get to counter, and they do get to upkeep coding my Jace. Can't you just play Rain of Gore in the sideboard? I wish it was that simple. We have both Sanctuaries in the hand, which kind of stinks. But I think I'll get the Charm back, both to counter the scary Matter Shaper and also to be able to counter Karn on the way down if they don't Stone Rain me. But if they Stone Rain me, that means they're not coding me, at least. Yeah, I miss Mox Opal too. Absolutely. I mean, Rain of Gore doesn't shut down Uro, right? Rain of Gore is a good sideboard card against Uro, but especially playing Rain of Gore in the sideboard of Grixis Control. If you play Rain of Gore in the sideboard of Grixis Control, you're not pressuring their life total besides the Rain of Gore, and it's okay for them to lose 6-9 life to the Rain of Gore, and they have answers to it in the form of Abrupt Decay and or Teferi Time Raveler. They can deal with the Rain of Gore, and without you being able to pressure their life total, Rain of Gore is not going to solve your problem, in my opinion. If I'm wrong and Rain of Gore does just make Grixis Control playable again, prove me wrong. and give me hope again. Please. Please. Why wasn't that countered with charm? They had Cavern of Souls. So, can't counter something that can't be countered, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. You're picking up what I'm putting down. You get it. You get it. So, I kind of want to put a 6 on top for... One, I want to be able to counter the Karn with Tails in because they can tech edge my Mystic Sanctuary. And I think I'll put... I guess Terminus on top also just is Terminus and we can Miracle it. Good commentary, Spike. But I think the Mateus will tech edge my Mystic Sanctuary, go to second main phase, then cast Karn, and then I get to Tails End it. And then Terminus also counters Ugin, but keeping a 3 on top isn't that relevant because of the Cavern, and keeping a 2 on top might be fine instead. Detention Sphere is probably fine, J Riot. I don't think anything happened to make it not playable. They should print a Cavern for Planeswalkers. Change my mind. It doesn't sound like it can, so I won't try. Sounds like your mind's made up. And I wish you luck on this journey that I cannot join you on. Dude, uncounterable Teferi the Time Raveler. Barf. Get out of here, Chalice of the Void. Be gone with you. They'd never expect another Terminus to be on top. Maybe my opponent did expect. We are definitely streets ahead here. We'll find a Terminus, or find an Entreat the Angels eventually. Oh, eventually came a bit sooner than I was expecting. I'm going to leave a 4 on top for Karn. I guess this means I'm bottoming the Cryptic Command with the Opt, but it also doesn't matter because we're going to put, you know, a Heavenly Host into play that will kill our opponent in one swing. Should just Jace ult them? I don't think so. I think just with the Entreat the Angels being in the deck, you don't need to Jace Ultimate in my opinion. I mean, this is fine. We'll just Entreat. Maybe I'll misclick. That could be funny. Yeah, I mean, nobody ever lets you actually ultimate Jace anyways. They always scoop first. Entreat the Angels, just Shark Typhoon on steroids. I mean, whatever the opposite of steroids are, it's probably the right answer. We need a card that makes Eagle tokens. Eagle tokens sound cool. Maybe a Lord of the Rings Secret Lair? Lord of the Rings Secret Lair would have been awesome. It's probably hard to make happen, though. Yeah, you can't Hall of Heliod's Generosity back Entreat the Angels. They should print a land that lets you get back Entreat the Angels, though. That would be nice. This hand's not very good. But maybe they'll go map and not play around Tail's End. Looks like that is the case. Nope. Not the case. Yeah, I think Hall of Heliod's Generosity like maybe becomes playable one day. I know that's not a glowing review of the card, but you know, I think it does have potential to one day see play in a deck, and maybe we'll be the ones playing it. You know, I think I'll Tails in the ETB trigger. Seems fine, right? Just make them choose the Tails End with the Seer. Good Teferi bounce the Seer. Seems fine to me. Don't really want to path necessarily and ramp them. If they just replay Seer, then like we've got 2 good 4-drops in our hand, and they'll probably take 1, but that's okay. This also gets the Teferi down. And maybe they like smash her the Teferi instead. Oh yeah, the Underworld Breach deck, that's right. Man, that deck had a lot of potential, but its biggest problem was that it was weak to everything. Like, it was weak to discard spells and counter spells and spot removal spells and graveyard hate and artifact hate and storm hate and being goldfished. It just like didn't have... It wasn't like attacking from a unique angle that was hard to disrupt, which is really important for like these turn 3 combo decks or turn 4 combo decks. And, you know, Underworld Breach is a very, very good Magic card and could certainly be a real factor in Modern one day, and is maybe even just busted right now in the Twiddlestorm deck and nobody knows it. It's something I've been thinking for a little while. Oblivion Sower? Well, we can't... I'm not going to remand that. My opponent gets no lands, but they have exiled all 3 of my Jace the Mind Sculptors now. It's so lucky to hit the other 2 Jaces. So we're going to have to do this without our friend Jace. Guess I'll path now, too. Yeah, our only way to win is the 1 Entreat the Angels now. Isn't this the deck to play Kihira? Yeah, however, I haven't been playing Kihira for a long time in this deck. I just don't think the Kihira is really where you want to be. Oh no, I brought in Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Never mind. We have plenty of win cons. We have two win cons in the deck. Yeah. We might even actually have too many ways to win. Yeah, it's probably true. Two Oblivion Sowers. Oh, please don't get both of my win cons. We could Mystic Sanctuary back Tails End and counter the trigger here. Kind of like that. It is just, I'm so scared of Teferi Entreat getting hit by the Sower. It'd be funny if it happened, maybe. It's hard to know if something is going to be funny before it happens, I suppose. If I had balls, I would remand it. I mean, I think remanding it's a little loose. Alright, so we'll see if there's a third Oblivion Sower. Could have scratched you to set up 2 exiles. You only set up 1 exile because you have to draw a card, but I feel like that backfires in too many ways. Opponent has 4 cards in their hand. Another big Eldrazi. All is dust. That's like a super remandable card. And a pretty good card to just know about. Because now if we just bounce Omen of the Sea with Teferi, we don't really care about All is Dust. Does Etron play All is Dust? Apparently. Yeah, see, now we just don't mind. I think I'm going to use my Cryptic Command, which can be a bit unwieldy in these kind of spots. Although maybe I'll just even Mystic Sanctuary it back. That seems fine, because if we don't need to Cryptic Command to counter anything this turn cycle, what we can do is just bounce Omen of the Sea and then replay Omen of the Sea in their instep. And I'll keep both of these. Got plenty of time here. So if they don't play anything into the Cryptic, we get to bounce Omen, draw a card, Omen, opt, and then Mystic Sanctuary the Cryptic back again if we want to. What do I think is the strongest card on the Modern ban list? It's kind of a good question. Ayavugan? It's like either Ayavugan, Sensei's Divining Top, Hogak, Faithless Looting. Faithless Looting might be it, honestly. No, it's not. It's close. No, not Deathred Shaman. It's like I think it's like Ayavugan, Hogak, or Sensei's Top probably. Not Deathred Shaman. Yeah, I mean, you just counter anything here. Basically, any threat. Ancient Den. No, Glimpse is powerful, but without like Wirewood Symbiote or the other one. Without either of those cards being in the format, I don't think that it's like in the highest tier of banned cards. No, I would also not say Chromox is either. Kind of an awkward time to draw the Entreat, I guess, since we need to counter this Ugin. Right, I'm gonna wait on the Entreat until I can cast it with the counterspell up, which should be doable next turn. Just gonna make a 1 angel and then. Oh wait, is our fourth Mystic Sanctuary gone? No, we still have 1 more Sanctuary to be able to entreat again. Sure, both these are fine. Yeah. We also need a white mana. This is true. An abundance of win conditions. Is there another way of putting Entreat back on the deck besides Jace? To my knowledge, there's not a playable one, no. Oh, sorry. Mystic Sanctuary is the way. This is the way. In fact, I think we're supposed to play around the graveyard land, the anti-graveyard land, Scavenger Grounds, by putting the Entreat on top on their upkeep. Although I guess we have Tail's End. I think I would say Ayavugan. I think Ayavugan is like the card that of any card on the ban list that I would not want to come off. I choose Ayavugan. Some horrible flashbacks of that time. I remember when, what's that card? It's the one. It's that black spell. The exile target colorless creature. I remember that card got printed like 2 years too late. I remember like, where were you during Eldrazi Winter? Yeah, I mean, there are cards that like are really annoying, but you know, kind of the deciding factor between, I think, Ayavugan and the obnoxious graveyard cards or the obnoxious combo cards is that it's really hard to hate out turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer, you know? There's just not a lot you can do about it. Yeah, Infernal Reckoning. Bah. I mean, Cloud Post is annoying, but it's like, I watch a lot of Legacy Cloud Post videos. I really enjoy watching the deck, but boy does that deck stumble a lot, and boy does that deck look less impressive than Tron a lot of the time. You know, no, like top with Miracles top in Legacy was one of my favorite decks of all time. Just truly, just such a delight to play. A deck that I was very grateful to play. I'm 12-3 at a GP with it once. Lost to Brian Bronduin put me out of top 8 contention. We were playing the Miracles Mirror. And I remember that we had this huge counter war where I was going to get to resolve a Jace unless Brian had exactly the 4th Force of Will plus a blue card as the last 2 cards, which he did. But then Brian was hellbent, and my hand was Brainstorm Ponder, and we were about even on, or sorry, Brainstorm Ponder, we were about even on mana, and Brian passed with no cards in hand, and I untap, I drew a land, and Ponder and Brainstorm showed me 7 lands, and I lost. I lost. It's brutal. I guess we keep a path. When will I play No Banlist Modern again? Well, I've actually never played it. I did host the No Banlist tournament for a celebration of transitioning to full-time streaming. I do want to do. I think that I want to have that kind of thing be an annual event in the summer. I haven't said this yet, but I had a really good time last time. I'd like to do an annual subscriber tournament, and I'm not sure that it's always going to be No Banlist Modern. But I'm thinking about doing RTR Innistrad Standard this next time. But may do like pre-modern or Legacy or something, or just regular modern is maybe what I should do. Kamigawa block Tiny Leaders, probably pretty good too. I'm gonna force this. You could do no reserve list Legacy. That's interesting too. Like, yeah, there lots of ideas. Like, I'll think about it. But I want to do it. I want to do one sub tournament a year in the summertime. Is my plan. I had a really good time last time. It was fun doing some co-commentary. You get some good streamers to do some commentary with us. I guess we just go to 6. I probably would have forced another Bolts. I don't think main phase is so bad if we hit Terminus. But, so... But, like, also is nice if we hit either land or 1-mana removal spell that's not Terminus. Yeah, I think this is what we needed to do. We also need our opponent to not... like put us to 1 here, because being at 1 is so tough when you don't have like enough lands to cast Jace. Opponent does have 2 cards. Gutshot's gonna put us down to 3. And this is gonna put us down to 2, which is tough. Yeah, well, we've got like 6 months to figure out the format, so no use planning it out this far ahead of time. I know that I would personally, the format I would definitely most want to cover is RTR and Strat Standard. But I don't know if it would be like the best for the stream or what everybody else would want. So we'll probably like get a poll going in the Discord at some point, and figure it out. It'll be a good time. Alright, opponents no cards in the hand. They're hellbent, top decking. I'm gonna draw 2 cards, I think. And die to Lightning Bolt. They've already cast 2 bolts and a Burst Lightning. Counterbalance is kind of good, although we're definitely just going to put 2 Angels into play. You have already prepared 4-color Balrog for Legacy. Dude, it seems so tough with Wasteland, but we'll see. That'd be cool. Maybe an extended form. Yeah. We have lots of options. Like I'm definitely down to hear suggestions. I'd be very grateful to hear suggestions. So, I should have played my Counterbalance first. This was a big mistake. But I am going to condemn my own Angel token after damage to gain 4 life, which is one of my favorite plays to make. But I should have played Counterbalance first. But it worked. So we can Mystic Sanctuary opt and counter this. That's probably good enough for me. The Angel's just a 2-turn clock by itself. And then having a 1-drop on top for counterbalances can be nice. Yeah. Close game. Athena is waking up. She's almost done napping, I can tell. Athena knows what time the stream is usually supposed to end, and so whenever I go over, like we're going over today, she can be a little ornery. She can be like, we're supposed to hang out around this time during the day, and it is around this time during the day, so why are we not hanging out? Why am I not walking somewhere right now? That's how Athena talks. I think I'll play 1 Force of Negation. A lot of people do like really cute voices for their dogs, but Athena like actually tries to speak to us, you know? She actually like looks at you and she tries to talk and she goes like blah, 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 blah. So we can't really do like a cute voice for Athena because she actually has a voice, and that voice goes blah, 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 please, you need to go outside. Again, win on turn 2. That's awesome. I guess we keep this. I mean, no white mana is pretty tough. Nah, go down. Yeah, she's a very good dog. I've been very blessed. She's the first dog I've ever had, and you know, I lived like my whole adult life with other people's dogs. All my roommates always had dogs, so I never had one for myself. And then there was like a whole year where I was living by myself, and I wasn't like really like able to have the time to take care of a dog, and I wanted one so badly. And then like, you know, 2.5 years ago I got Athena, and I was just so thrilled that I was just fine. I was finally in a position to have my own dog. It was just a childhood dream to be able to do that, and I really do feel like I got incredibly lucky with just as good as it gets in the dog category. And as grateful as I am for you guys, which is incredibly grateful, I'm mostly grateful for Athena. Voice of a chain smoker whose mouth is full of jello. Yeah, that's probably how I'd describe the voice we do for Athena. You should be a writer, Duck Walls. That was good. Just off the top of your head. What made me choose Athena? Well, I honestly, I didn't even have much of a choice because, well, I did, but I didn't like go and seek out Athena, which is also why I got so lucky. It's Athena was adopted by a friend of mine who has a toddler, and Athena didn't play well with the toddler. She was just too rough, running around all the time, and just like was too hyper to exist in the environment of a toddler. And Athena had like needed a lot of training, needed a lot of training. And when I got her, it was a long process. But I was happy to take her for my friends, and it was like she is much better in this home, I think, than in she was there. Oh yeah, show it. See it some love. Well, I don't. She moved her dog bed into the corner. It was like right there, and she's moved it over here. Probably can't even see her, but she like dragged it into the corner. We're gonna get back opt. Gonna go no. Yeah, that's Esther's bag of candles that she keeps on that little table there. Athena Cam 1. Maybe one day. Maybe when I
What's up? It's me,
really start being grateful for the stream. Austin, 14 months in a row. Welcome back. Thank you, buddy. Glad that you've stuck around this long. Despite that today it's the first day I've decided to be grateful. You know, jokes aside, I am very grateful to have this.
Welcome, Spikelings, to the Shark
Incredibly
Typhoon.
lucky, and I honestly can't imagine what this year would have been like without you guys. I don't know. Joe baited 5 months in a row. Hope you're having a good day today. Appreciate you. I know things got wild and wacky earlier. They got out of control, but I am unironically, no jokes, no kappa, grateful for you guys. Bottom both of these. That's a good draw. Why no kill? Yeah, how will Athena become a night pack ambusher without a camera? So do we die to Spell Pierce plus Lava Dart? If we path and they have Spell Pierce plus Dart, do we die? Dart is 6 damage. Yeah, we actually die to Spell Pierce plus Dart. So like, do we just want to play around that? I think I do. I think I do by just not pathing here. Or maybe they play Stormwing and we path that instead. They put one on top, one on bottom. If they want that card on top, they'll decline here. Anytime I play this deck through League, I have to audibly say how unlucky every time I don't blind flip. Yeah, that is, I think that is part of the rule. Yeah, no, I missed the episode, old sub notification too. I really, really liked it, and it does have like a lot of. I miss it too. I miss it too. I don't think it's going to be an option to come back for the foreseeable future, but maybe one day things calm down and we can bring it back, or at least like put it into the rotation. But there's just like too many DMCA stuff, or too much DMCA stuff. Well, my opponent has made the fatal blunder of attacking with Monastery Swift Spear while Teferi is in play. The upslope notification was a clip from the Strong to Strike soundtrack from Naruto. I guess we just instant speed Timely. And they know we have the Timely in their hand, but the instant speed Timely might not be on their radar. And also there's really just no cost in holding it here. So let's see if we find Terminus, because I'd rather Terminus, first, if I have to at all. A 1-drop to put on top, but I mean this game is pretty over. So let's just put Island Counterbalance on top with the ability to Mystic Sanctuary a 1. No, your opponent's blue-red. They're just playing Arid Mesa as a red fetch land. This is blue-red prowess, which is a pretty popular deck. Cool. 4-1 with Miracles. Deck felt pretty solid. We even like punted the match we lost against X Whale, but I always just get so flustered playing against X because he's really, really good. Like, he's an actual streamer, and I'm a MTGO user.